That all down, guys. Let's get things started here with this, shall we? You know, one of the more anticipated things coming to Disney Plus right now is Daredevil Born Again. Now, of course, when they first announced it, everybody was excited. I mean, it wasn't going to be connected to the Netflix series, unfortunately, but they were still bringing back several of the original cast. And the great thing was they were going to have 18 episodes, which was awesome. Well, Kevin Feige wasn't really happy with the way the show was transpiring and the way it was coming all together, but Bob Chapek wasn't going to let him stop and start again. Then Bob Iger came back and said, Kevin Feige, you can do what you want. Kevin Feige said, great, let's stop it. We're going to take this thing back to the drawing board. We are going to connect it to the Netflix series now, and we're going to go in this different direction. So everybody's really excited about, although unfortunately we probably won't get 18 episodes anymore, but yeah. So now here we are with the new Daredevil Born Again coming, and one of the big questions that a lot of people have had ever since they announced it was, is it going to be Disneyfied? Are they going to tone it down? Are they going to have, less? Is it going to be a PG-13 version of Daredevil? Now, a lot of people felt a lot better once Deadpool came out. When Deadpool and Wolverine came out, which was far more rated R than anything Daredevil ever did, then that alleviated some concern, but this was going to be straight to Disney Plus. How would they feel about it? Well, according to Charlie Cox, he's saying this thing's going to be even darker than the Netflix one. This comes to us from the folks over at Games Radar, who are quoting Cox when he said this. The thing that we kept talking about was this show has had the success that it's had and has appealed to a very specific demographic because it's one of the few superhero shows that is so dark and sinister at times, said Cox to Entertainment Weekly. So we really pushed for the show to remain geared towards an older audience and not dumbed down to kind of capture a wider net of people. I think in some ways it's even darker and a lot of the stuff we've done than a lot of the stuff that we've done in the past. Now, this kind of coincides. You guys might remember a few weeks ago, I talked to somebody at Disney who kind of mentioned to me, and I didn't know how seriously to take them, said, this Daredevil Born Again is going to be more violent than the one on Netflix was. And now hearing Charlie Cox saying, yeah, this is in many ways, this is a darker show than even what we did on Netflix. Now, a lot of people will be quick to dismiss that. And I've seen people quickly dismiss it, saying, no, it's Disney. It's Disney. They're going to say, and I would maybe think there was some credence to saying, no, they won't do that. It's Disney. If it wasn't for Deadpool and Wolverine. And not just the existence of Deadpool and Wolverine, but the fact that they did indeed take Deadpool and Wolverine after a long theatrical run and put it on Disney Plus and other things that they putting on there. So it sounded like the change of direction that they took back, half a year ago or more, they decided to go a little bit more extreme. Chris, I'm not sure how much darker or more violent Daredevil can get, but it sounds like that's what they're aiming for. What's your reaction to these comments?
Well, first of all, more violent, more graphic does not necessarily mean that's going to be a better show. We've talked about that ad nauseam.
More R doesn't automatically equal better.
Exactly.
But it does make you a pirate.
It does. Absolutely. Drink your lime juice so you don't get scurvy. Boom. That being said, I am excited because I love the brutality of the Netflix Daredevil, and I'm very interested in this. One of the things that Netflix did, though, is a lot of times we cut away from some of the more graphic ideas of violence, and we, the audience, fill in those gaps.
Yeah, which can be more effective.
Exactly. We always talk about this reference of in the comics with, the Green Lantern, of the girlfriend shoved in a refrigerator. We really don't see much of her disembodied body, but we all fill in those gaps and go, this is the worst death I've ever seen. But we didn't really see it. Same thing with this. We don't really see Kingpin just bludgeon people to death. It's mostly we see blood splatters and the implication of some of these things. I'm wondering if we're not going to pull away as much in this one, if this is more brutal, if we're going to see more of this violence enacted on screen, because that would be one of the bigger differences for me there. Now, just as a reminder to our audience too, tonally Daredevil has been all over the place throughout its comic book history.
Oh yeah, completely.
So we can have epic, brutal fight scenes and still have levity. Daredevil famously wore a Halloween costume with a sweater saying, I'm Daredevil.
Right.
He's a goofball sometimes as well. So they have a lot of opportunity to do a lot with this show. As much as I love the Netflix one, I think we all also need to kind of take a step back and say, hey, even though these are the same characters, even though these are the same players, let's allow this show to breathe on its own and let's see how we feel about it as its own entity. And while it's so difficult to not compare and contrast, especially because when the Daredevil series came out initially, we just had the Ben Affleck movie to kind of compare it to. It's hard to compare against something that's really, really good. But I think we just need to let this be its own thing and maybe even take the Disney aspect of it out of the equation and just go, hey, there's a new Daredevil series. Let's see what it's like. And not assume that the House of Mouse is going to make it kiddified.
I like the thing you were saying about how, like, a lot of shots in Daredevil, they will pull away and let us fill in the gaps. The comics themselves have done that. Like, I'll be honest with you, one of the most, to me, horrifying and graphic panels or frames of any comic book ever was Death in the Family, when Joker was beating Jason Todd to death.
Oh, yeah.
The most horrific frame was the camera wasn't even on Jason. It was straight. The frame was Joker
with the swinging
crowbar with a few little blood splatters coming up. Like, that was one of the most disturbing panels of comic book I've ever read. And you weren't even seeing Jason's head getting caved in by a crowbar. So I think, you know, if you look at the violence in Daredevil, or I should say in Deadpool, I think you're right. I think they will still employ that, but show a little bit more. But anyway, who knows which way they'll go with it. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, The Perfect Jean. All right, let's get real for a second. Khakis, stiff, uncomfortable, and a crime against humanity. That's why I am obsessed with The Perfect Jean. I'm wearing them right now, and let me tell you, they've changed the game. They have full stretch, no resistance, whether I'm sitting for hours, indulging in holiday feasts, or running errands, these jeans move with me. And the best part, I don't feel like I'm in a denim prison. They're stretchy, soft, and crazy comfortable. And these aren't just comfy lounge pants. They look sharp enough for dinner parties and family photos, and with 6 fits, waist sizes up to 50, and lengths up to 38, the Perfect Jean fits everyone. From short kings to tall legends, over 5,000 combinations to get your perfect fit. So what are you waiting for? Stop crushing your balls in stiff, boring jeans. Head to theperfectjean.nyc and use the code Campea15 for 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, returns, and exchanges. That's right, risk-free, folks. Once again, that's theperfectjean.nyc, code Campea15. F your khakis and upgrade to the Perfect Jean. Trust me, your legs and everything else will thank you. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about these comments being made about the new Daredevil series? Do you buy it? Are you still on the train that you think they're going to kind of Disneyfy the show? Did Deadpool go, yeah, that was super R and super violent and a lot of skin getting ripped off people's bodies and decapitations and all that kind of stuff, but this isn't Deadpool? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.